What's good, people? It's Tim Sheaf here. It is now 11:51 wherever I am. I'm in Qatar, in Doha. I think it's in Qatar. I just flew from Chiang Mai, 7 AM flight this morning. On the plane, my vegan meal was a banana and an apple, while everyone else had sandwiches. Depending on what your judgment scale is, the worst vegan meal I've had on a flight, but at the same time, probably what I needed and what my higher self wanted, so I held it down and enjoyed the apple. And it was pretty rotten in the middle, but it is what it is, man. I've never been to this airport before. It's pretty empty. I'm one of the only ones in here. But I wanted to just jump on the camera real quick and just talk about Chiang Mai, Thailand. I did a review of Hong Kong last time I went there. I also did a review of Hawaii, and I think this one is definitely worthy of a review, especially in comparison, because I remember being in Hawaii and thinking, how does Thailand compare to this? Because it's been a while since I've been to Thailand, and I'd only been to Chiang Mai once before. But I don't know, where do I start? Man, cheap fruit, very affordable. You never look at the cost of anything. It obviously depends where you're at with your money, but it's one of the places, it's the most accessible quality fruit at a cheap price. And when I say accessible, I mean like you're never more than 60 seconds from being able to buy fresh coconut to drink. Apologies for the videos with the straws. As much as possible, I always ask for it without a straw, and I just drink it straight out of the coconut. Sometimes the camera's on, they put the straw in already. I'm not going to fake it and take the straw out, and it is what it is. I keep it real. But yeah, definitely tried to stay lower on the plastics. Keep my own plastic bag in my bum bag so I could use that when I needed to. But other than the plastic situation, they do give you plastic bags with everything, and more plastic bags than you ever need. But you can sort that out yourself. But yeah, cheap, really accessible fruit, amazing. I'd say obviously depends on the season. There was some durian. I had one durian with Harry and Louise. That durian was decent, though it's not quite the season in Thailand, but yeah, really good. January, they say, is the busiest month for tourists. So I wanted to book an apartment that Sean recommended to me, Green Hill, I think, and it was fully booked. So I ended up getting Airbnb. Between an Airbnb and a hotel, it cost £20 a night. On average, I think, which is really cheap for the quality. Absolutely, for the quality you get. I had an apartment to myself with a balcony and a really good quality pool, saltwater pool. There's so many things in Thailand which are like, I don't understand why we don't do in the West. And it's like the things that matter to, I think they seem to do, like the saltwater pool. One thing I really like is in the toilets they just have the hose, the little butt hose, and you just feel so clean. Like there's no point in wiping your ass with a tissue. You don't wipe mud off your body with a tissue. It's like, I wish to just in the West just adopt that, because it's so much nicer to have that, and saves on so much paper as well. And you know what's bleached in the paper, which is a straight, you putting bleach into your butthole. People put drugs up their butthole that way. It's like you're gonna wipe bleached paper with whatever chemicals all over it on you. But so that thing, that's one thing. Anytime I go to a country they have that, I'm like, good ratings, cleanliness, good hygiene, man, and saves the environment, and is logical, really logical. Another thing I liked, obviously it depends on your health and safety MO, but I rented a scooter I didn't even show my driver's license. They just let me rent a scooter off the lot. They took a copy of my passport, I gave them a deposit, and I walked away with a scooter, or rode away on a scooter. There are police stops, and I was warned about it, and everyone I spoke to that had a scooter had been stopped by police. What they do, they pull you over and they say, oh, you have to get an international license before you come here, which I don't have. No one ever gets one, but apparently you can get them for like £20. They pull you over and they go, oh, you're not got an international license, you're going to have to go to the police station. And then they lift up the seat where you put the fuel in, and they say, oh, you can put a bribe down there, kind of thing, and they just take a little cheeky bribe. And everyone I spoke to had like 2 or 3 times they've been pulled by police and had to pay like a 500 baht or 300 baht bribe to the police, and then they get on the way. I never got stopped once in 3 weeks. Don't know if that was luck, or you carry the energy around with you. I was just cruising confidently, or I just wasn't dressed that hippie like, or they just leave me alone, or I just didn't go in those areas. So that's just, the scooter was really good. And what I really liked about the way traffic works there, yes, you do hear the occasional death from a tourist in Thailand. You've got to be responsible. That's one thing. I felt responsible for myself. I didn't feel like, what do you call it, like a nanny state. I didn't feel like wrapped in cotton wool there. It was like I was responsible for myself in traffic, and sort of traffic flowed like a school of fish. It was really efficient and effective, rather than, and there was no road rage. People would beep, but it took me a minute, and then I realized the beeping was nothing to do with them like telling you off. It was like a little warning beep that they're coming around you or whatever, you know. And just the whole thing, there's just a lot less ego. I was staying right by the university, and I could just roll through the university. The amount of facilities they had, the sports facilities at the university were incredible. Diving boards, archery, running track that you could go on completely free. You could just go and run around, and there were like 4 corners of the running track would be drum circles with dancers practicing, while people, young kids, no ego, just running around, the groups of kids running around the track singing together, groups of kids just on the phone, people walking, like literally hundreds of people on the running track. And the lane system they used was really effective as well. Little things like that just really impressed me. The traffic light system, it's long when you're at a traffic light, but there'll be like a junction, like that, and each light will go to green, and it will stay on green for ages, which is sort of annoying when there's not much traffic, but at the same time you get loads of people through in each go, and you know you're only going to have to wait once in the whole cycle of traffic. As for some reason I judge a culture by the way they do their traffic and their car systems, because I think that is something that is hectic in England and other places I visit. Not saying that it can't be done better, or could be done better, because there is so much cars on the road in those areas, but it's something that I like to think about, like, oh yeah, in Thailand they have traffic light system and it stays on green for ages for each light, but then you're never waiting ever more than once to go through that light. And it's sort of less for the human ego wants to know that they're still moving. Even if you don't get through the light in one go, you want to know that you're moving. Oh, every 2 minutes you moved a bit and then moved a bit, rather than like 5 minutes and you're through once guaranteed. It actually is more effective, because obviously more traffic can get up to speed and get through, rather than this start-stop system that we have to. In my eyes, it seems like it feeds the ego in the other one, but just an opinion. The mountains in Chiang Mai, there was 4 main trails that Harry told me about. Harry runs, check him out, a vegan ultra elite runner running the Hong Kong 100 today. Godspeed to him. There was 4 main trails: Caffeine Trail, Pilgrim's Trail, Last Man Standing and First Man Standing. A few of them were over 1,000 meters of climb. The other 2 were like 600 meters. Really awesome trails, all slightly different. The Caffeine Trail leads to like a hill tribe village, but you take 100 baht in your bum bag and you can buy some fruit and a coconut when you get to the top. I'm just on the kids' playground, kids want to play. So yeah, the mountains were epic. That's one thing I look for when I'm traveling, is mountains, obviously the fruit. Yeah, having the scooter was really effective. People said, why don't you rent a bike? Yeah, maybe if I went another time I'd rent a bike, but it was just efficient for me. I was going to yoga every single day, cheap yoga, good studios, really good teachers. It just attracts that kind of like good crowd. Yeah, good parks, lots of different running tracks you can use, like I said, completely for free. Restaurants, we didn't even get to that. Vegan restaurants, untold variety of vegan restaurants. Amazing. My favorite, I'll give you a few of my favorites. Reform Cafe, if you want like a Western style burger, but in a really nice vibe. It's part of a hotel, really nicely done. They do like a mushroom patty, which tastes quite meaty, but they do other stuff, that really good juices and smoothies. My number one, okay, well we're not doing that. Number one restaurant I'd recommend to go to is Om, family run business. They're an organic farm 30 minutes out of town. All of the stuff brought in from there. Beautiful lady called Garçon runs it with a family and a few other people, and just you sit on the floor, food's made with love, you really feel it. My regular dish, once I've went a few times, because the menu's massive, so many options, they can do anything you want really, but I'd just get pumpkin soup, no oil, no salt, steamed vegetables and double rice, and I'd just mix it all together, eat it in different batches, pick on the steamed veg and that. Really amazing dish, clean, and that's what I have in the evening, and then all day I'd just eat fruit. I probably wouldn't eat, I'd normally do like a run and yoga in the morning, or yoga and then go to the park and stretch in the park, and I wouldn't eat till about 2-3 o'clock. I'd have a coconut water and some fruit just from the side of the road, and then I would only eat 1 meal a day, so I called it the FOMAD diet, fruit and 1 meal a day, and that was just really just good, man. Just really clean living, and there was just the temptation, the things to do. I was never not occupied all day. Every day was full, and I wasn't sat on the internet all day, or like looking for things to do, or just, you know, wanting to eat, or sat inside in the cold. It was like really a blissful blessing of a place to be. Anything downsides to it? I guess it's not near the ocean. So there's that. If you want to swim on the beach, you can obviously fly out to other islands. I've been to Thailand 4 times. I've never been to a beach here yet. I always hear they're so touristy and that, and I just find my places, man. I was in Chiang Mai for 3 weeks. I could have stayed for another 3 weeks, just getting in the groove of it. Water, you can get pretty clean bottled water, but it's still bottled. I definitely would bring my distiller if I came again, I think, or find a better source of water. There are other systems. You can buy reverse osmosis water and that, I think, in places, but I never got round to like finding that habit. I was moving places a bit. I didn't find that rhythm with the water, but I was buying the 7-Eleven water, and you might have seen in my other video I tested the water and it was pretty decent, so I just drank that. But you still notice it in your throat when you've been on distilled water out of glass bottles for so long. As you go back to bottled water, you notice it in your throat pretty quickly. So I would try and have coconuts are so cheap anyway. I'd try and have coconuts, but it's not straight water. It's a different kind. Coconut water is still a food. It's not a liquid. Well, it's a liquid, but it's more of a food. It like activates something in your body. It's not like water just hydrates you. Hydrates you in a different way. What else would I say? Cleanliness is pretty clean. Like, it's really not that dirty. There's a bit of pollution in the center, but you've got mountains nearby. All around it's surrounded by mountains. So actually, I was pretty impressed with the cleanliness. Not much dirt or litter. There's always people cleaning. People are really respectful, really polite. People are really happy there. Yeah, just really sense no real ego in the whole place. Nowhere I went to. Bought a SIM card for my phone in AIS in Maya Mall, and it was like £15 for a month, unlimited data, fast internet. That was one thing that was on my list when I was coming here. Was worried about slow internet if I wanted to vlog and stuff like that. Not a single problem. There's a digital nomad like Mecca, which digital nomad is people that live online, make like income through online, through their laptops and stuff, and can travel the world, be nomadic. And a lot of people go there as a hub. There's fast internet. Pretty much anywhere you go, you can get decent internet. But yeah, I bought the SIM card, and when I bought the SIM card, they do it all for me, put it in, made sure it worked. They have free water in their shop. Like, the malls there are way better than any malls in England that I've been to. Just so much more peaceful and less, I don't know, maybe it's like a tourist perspective, you know. But it did feel like genuinely the energy felt better in those places. Less hoardery and materialistic, even though obviously they're still selling stuff, but I don't know, good vibes. And there's loads of like, you can get really cheap juices all over the place. It's just like a standard option in any like restaurant. It's like a cheap green juice. It's not like a health conscious expensive kick that we have in other places, like trying to capitalize on this thing. It's just, that's just something they have. It's just a nice cheap green juice, or you get a beetroot juice. I'd get that quite often, just nothing but organic beetroot juice. Super cheap. Yeah, really awesome place. I'd say it ticks more boxes than any other place I've been to in one area, in one short area. And even just arriving at the airport to where you want to go, nothing's far. It's not too far from the airport. Yeah, no chemtrails. There's planes flying over every day, all day. You don't notice them that much, and you don't see a single I didn't see a single chemtrail the whole time, not coming out of the planes, and then not hovering over the sky, blocking out the sun. It was winter right now, January, and there was only one cold day where I had to wear something like this little Ethics prototype thin hoodie. There's only one day I had to wear something like this. The rest I could just be in t-shirts. Yeah, you shouldn't really be shirtless. I wanted to be shirtless quite more, just to get some sun. But people don't do it there in the city, so I just respect that. Other than when I was in the park or running up the mountain, then I'd be shirtless. But if you go through the temples, didn't even talk about them. The temples, you put your shirt on when you get to a temple. That's what's so amazing. There's so many hidden, beautiful temples in the mountains. You just be running through a trail and pop out at a gorgeous temple. I've managed to visit like 3 or 4 different ones, and it's just really peaceful. And then you'd be driving around. I went on for a scooter ride to find one of the trails, and there's just loads of like massive Buddhas sat on the mountain, dotted around. You just see them from a distance, and just realize how scattered like Buddhism is influencing in the culture. And then I would just wonder what that does on a level to the land when you've got that many people meditating all over the area, dotted around. It builds like a network or a grid over the country, and just helps dissolve the ego around us, you know, potentially. They call it the land of smiles, and I definitely see that. Yeah, I saw like young boys coming down from the mountain, barefoot, not speaking, they're getting food from the locals. People say a prayer for them and give them food. But they say it's like a rite of passage at like 18 or something. A lot of the kids, 6 months to 1 year, they spend in a monastery before they go into other life and move on. And it's like, just to have that, imagine if everyone in the West had to do like, if everyone had to do like 6 months before they could go into work or to university, of just like self-reflection on their childhood, you know, and just maybe we get rushed into growing up so quickly, we don't get to reflect on things that we've been through and experiences, and to just help live through them and burn up the emotions and then move on from it, rather than them getting bottled. And then a lot of adults actually I see just trapped in this like child body of bottled emotions and stuff. It's a really interesting country to observe, and I think I do like to go back there. I've been to a lot of places in Asia, not too many. I've not been to Philippines or other areas around there, but just I like Thailand each time I go, and I notice more things that I like about it. So yeah, if you're thinking of traveling, you want like a vegan mecca. I hear Bali's a good vegan mecca. If you want a little bit more fitness with some nice salted pools and running tracks and mountain trails and flat roads, if you want to run roads, there's nowhere more I'd recommend to go. For like easy good life, cheap living, really cheap accommodation, and good healthy food, where you can have the other stuff if you want, but you're just not as tempted or drawn to it when you live in that kind of way. So yeah, I'm gonna go catch my flight now back to London. Yeah, I thought I'd do this. I thought it's good. You might get something from it, you know, if you're thinking of traveling, you're not sure where to go. I wasn't sure where to go. I was thinking maybe go Ibiza or Tenerife or back to LA, Vegas, but I didn't go to Asia at all last year, and I thought, let me just get to Chiang Mai. You're always still a bit anxious, like, am I going to find anything? I've met some amazing people. You meet the community there is amazing. The people you'll meet, just out on the trails or in the restaurants, and you just get talking to people. So big love to Harry, Chris, Kimon and Eden and Philip and everyone else that I met there, Sigga and Cole and the other Cole, and yeah, just everyone that I shared time with in Chiang Mai this trip. I hope to be back. I hope to be back with the crew, with the team, with Ethics. I want to take Benj, and I'd love to take Brett and Av. And I'd love to see Sean out there as well, who's spent a lot of time he's spent out there, and I can see why. And so yeah, if you're thinking of where to go, you don't know where to go, you want to plan a trip, there's also, you can go to Pai from there, which I've still not been to, but it's like a 3-hour cheap bus ride away, but you're right in the mountains. The waterfalls, there's a waterfall right near the city as well that I was doing like Wim Hof breathing in, and it was so special, and just like Armin, and you're just surrounded by rocks and you can feel it reverberate. So some really cool moments, man. There's so much there. But yeah, definitely would recommend Chiang Mai if you want to live a happy, healthy vegan lifestyle. You can do Vipassana retreats from there. You can go into the monastery, sign up and do Vipassanas, do some silent meditations and things like that. So the options for healing, to remove the temptations, to realize there's another world out there, that you don't have to stay where you are, and you can, you know, save some money and go spend a month there, spend 3 months there. It goes a long way, and no one seems like they're getting ripped off on the surface, as far as I can tell. You know, it seems legit, and everyone's happy there and comfortable. So I'll leave you with that. I love you all. Be kind to yourself. Peace out.